All praises to Haya, Ashurahaya, Bashim Yeshaya, Shawak. This is Shabar Israel, and today I spoke about the mummy returns, nation against nation, being the Edomite nation, and Christ the same. And the reason why I spoke on these topics, the Most High showed me all these things through a prophetic vision and dream. Let's talk about the prophetic vision first. I appeared standing in a particular city, which was Chicago, now that I realized after it was over. And the scenery was in black and white, and I could see that stadium there that they use for sports. And the ground was black and white. Everything was just like desolate. There was a man there from one of these camps standing outside, and he had on his garments and everything like that. And there appeared a door, and the door was there in the middle of nowhere. And there was a man there, and he was afraid to go through the door. And I said, here, just take a rope and tie something to it, throw it in there, and see what happens when you drag it back. And so likewise, I did it for him. And since he wouldn't go through, I decided to go through. And so when I went through the door, everything appeared back in color once more. Well, everything appeared in color from that side of the door, but on the outside of the door, everything was like desolate over here. The daughter of Babylon, formerly my land, Ozareth, Chicago. But on the other side of the door, there was life, in other words. But in Chicago, there was no life. So when we went through the door, and I saw everything was made new, and I stepped back out because I guess, the Most High wanted me to. And I noticed that I was standing on the whole United States. Each state had been broken apart. Then they began to come back together. And then the ground and everything was shaking and shifting. Then after that, I appeared over there in a specific country. That country was Russia. And I met the president there, and we had a couple of words. But before I met him, there was a man being chased on the streets. And there was a woman chasing him and a man. I stopped the woman from chasing this particular individual. And then I followed him. And he was out of his mind. He was in some type of underground bunker. And that's when the scene changed. And I met the president, Vladimir Putin. And we had some words. I'm not going to discuss what was said, okay? Just let you know that I met him. And shortly after I met him, I shook his hand and all of that. And then I was transferred back to the United States. And I could see myself floating above the United States from the sky. And I could see a huge individual stretched all over the United States, the daughter of Babylon, formerly my land, Ozareth, in what you would call a mummy's attire, burial attire. It ended. And then the Most High showed me a dream. I appeared. I was in a white robe, and I was sailing down in a boat, like a canoe-like structure. I could see it was a castle, and behind me, and the river or the stream led from the castle. There was a man in the boat with me, and he was the Messiah, but he was in a different body. And then after that, I looked to my right, and there was the Messiah there, and he was in the body that he was crucified in, and in spirit, he was the whole package, in other words. And the Messiah that was with me in the boat said he was the same, and he never changed, and things of that nature. And he's, basically with me. So he was there in another body, and then he appeared on the other side in his original body of the Messiah and everything, and then it ended. I received wisdom, instruction, understanding concerning this particular vision and the dream concerning the Messiah. Now, I appeared, in Chicago, being Chicago will be the first to fall, in Jamestown, Virginia, the last standing. Christ said that these people that are outside on the streets are hypocrites on the corner. He was still up there running his mouth, but the Most High had destroyed that city. You see that? And behold, I show you a door. Like in the book of Revelation, there is a way out but you got to be willing to go through that door. And they were afraid. The men were afraid to go through the door. The door is Christ. You see that? And wisdom or chokma is the key to get into it. They don't have that. See, wisdom crieth in the street, but no man taketh a hand. He was out there, and he was listening to me, but he was not adhering to what I was saying. You got to have faith to do this. You see that? And so I proceeded. I went through it. Then the ground started shaking and quaking. Why? Because the Most High was just going to destroy this place. You see that? Like Sodom and Gomorrah. You see that? And then all the states and they began to break apart. Then they came back together. And then I was transferred over there to Russia, where the Most High is basically saying it's time for the kingdom, the Edom's mixed kingdom, but per nation, Edom to be against Edom. Just watch for that. And there was one more thing that I left out. After that, I met with Vladimir Putin. I began to drift up toward the heavens before it ended, and I saw the Messiah stretched out, and he was wrapped in papyrus as a mummy. He was huge, and his body stretched all the way from the east to the west and north and south. You know, with his arms, everything, crown of his head to the sole of his feet, and he was stretched out. And that's when it ended. So what is the Most High saying? After I left Russia, he's about to lay his hand on this place through the death, burial, and resurrection of Christ. You see that? You crucify him afresh here in the daughter of Babylon, formerly my land, Ozareth. And hence the mummy returns. And I had a conversation with the Messiah about this, and he said that, yes, he was wrapped like a mummy, and it was papyrus that he was wrapped in. And I was like, really? And I said, why? I said, wasn't that, during Joseph's, when the children of Israel were in Egypt and bondage and everything, they used mummies and everything before that? And he said, yeah, but it still was different times. And he was wrapped as a mummy. And he said for embalming. They were going to embalm him, but they never got a chance to. And he was wrapped in papyrus. So that was the conclusion, that the Messiah is about to wake up. The mummy returns. Hence the mummy returns. So that's where they get it from. You see that? There's some information out there. We just know it in your spirit that these people know. And in light of everything, they mock through some of these movies and things like that. And it's a shame. Not only that, his hands were stretched out. So his hand, he was in like a fetal position, but yet, how would I say, he was still kind of straight. Like he was getting ready to rise up or something like that, on his side. So the Most High is about to lay his hand on this place through Christ. You see that? And all the earth coming together, shaking and quaking, it's going to start here. You see that? That's why it was doing it. And the Most High is going to send Christ here first, as far as I'm concerned. If I receive more understanding about it, then so be it. But this is all the information I have right now. The second dream was, I had a dream before in the past about someone coming to save a princess in a castle. And this time I was leaving the castle in a white robe, and there was a man with me on each side. Those men, they were the Messiah. You see that? Lo, I'm with you even to the end of the world. This is what he was telling the tribe of Gad. He'll never leave you. He'll never forsake you. Even he was down here as a homeless man. He changed a couple of times and everything, but he's still with me. You see that? The tribe of Gad, and I really appreciate it. Regardless of everything that's happening between he and I do really appreciate it. So this is the bottom line, and this is the conclusion of these two prophetic events. So those who have an ear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. Chicago will be the first to fall, and Jamestown, Virginia, the last standing. And as always, watch ye therefore and pray always, that ye may be accounted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and to stand before the Son of Man. And for those who refuse to take part in the tree of life, and drink from the fountains of living water, let them be unjust still. And the bride say, come, and the Spirit say, come, and the wife say, come, Yeshua come, thy kingdom come. Amen.